For dealers that are running their own bid sale auctions, a very common question is, what can Auction Simplified do for me that I can't do for myself? Well, the answer is quite simple. The first thing is that we provide a network of buyers that are national, not just local. We give the buyers the ability to see your cars online, to bid, and to view condition reports, photos, and we do it in a way where it's really fun and easy for the buyers to feel comfortable bidding on your cars. Let's zoom in on one of our dealers right now. So this is a dealer that's running an auction today, and they have a 2008 BMW. And you can see that, first of all, other buyers have rated this dealership a 5-star rating, saying that the dealer is a good place to buy a car. Second, you can see that the dealer has provided a condition report and bid assurance. These are two features that really give a transparency feel, an honesty feel for the bidders when they're bidding on your cars. So they can feel comfortable not having to even go and drive or view the vehicles at your inspection day, but bid completely from start to finish online. So here's an example of the condition report, and you can see it's pretty elaborate, allows the buyers to disclose features and things that are on that vehicle from stem to stern. You'll also notice that we allow them to put as many photos as they like of the vehicle, and a lot of dealers really get into it, and you'll see that they zoom in on the flaws, if there's dirt in the seats or if there's issues. And you can see this dealer was even smart enough to take a picture of the mileage of the vehicle. We also allow them to see the Carfax. So if you have a unlimited Carfax or auto check, buyer can take a look at that and actually view it inside of the Auction Simplified platform. They also have the ability to view bid assurance. Now, bid assurance is a type of assurance that allows the dealer to say, listen, we're going to do everything in our power to disclose everything on this vehicle, but if for some reason we mess up, we're not going to make you take the car. A really nice way of doing business, and something you're probably going to do anyway as a professional and honest and transparent dealer. But we like to disclose it up front. It's a policy feature of your auction. And it is something that you don't have to turn on, but we highly recommend it because buyers want to trust that they can bid completely online. Because your ultimate goal is to get about 50% of your buyers coming from your traditional bid sale and pen and paper type sale, but also another 50% come in from online bids and distance buyers. And the way you get that done, of course, is by providing a really respectable condition report and photos of the flaws. By the way, the bidder, all he has to do is place his bid. He can put a $10,000 bid in, hit the silent bid, and a little window comes up and says, are you sure you want to bid $10,000? And you can just say yes, and that bid is in. It's very straightforward. Now, something you may not realize is they can also do all of this from a smartphone app. Let me show you that next. So I switched over to my smartphone, and I'm just going to click on the Auction Simplified app. I'm going to log myself in. Now, the nice thing about the app is it keeps you logged in pretty much forever unless you log out. I'm just going to pick one of the dealerships that are running an auction. And in this case, the buyer is scrolling up and down, and he's picking some of the vehicles to add to his watch list, which is handy because then when they go to the bid sale, or if they go back to the list later on, they can bid on just the cars they really found themselves most interested in. In this case, he's putting in his silent bid. Pretty straightforward. They push the silent bid button. He's scrolling down through, looking at a VDP now, actually drilling into the car, and they can use their finger to switch through the photos, look at the condition report, and view all the equipment. There's the condition report, now formatted for a phone. You may notice at the top of the menu a barcode scanner that can actually barcode scan the vehicles. Now this dealer is going to his alerts, and he's going to take a look at a couple of different alerts that they can do. One is they can do transaction ratings, where they can put in a 5-star rating, 1-star rating, depending on how things went. Now he's going back into his alerts, and in this case, he's going to look at invoices on vehicles that he's won. So he just picks the dealership, and he can take a look at the invoice right from his smartphone, including the buy fee. He can switch dealerships to the next dealership in his chain of places he's purchased. And here's 3 cars with 3 different invoices all ready to be done right from a smartphone. Now, our reporting is pretty substantial. We have a monthly auction report. We have a buyer's report so you can see who your best buyers are. We have a location summary so you can see which location in your group is performing the best. We can even look at receipts and who's paid and who hasn't. We can look at vehicles you've won yourself. You can look at auction results live, current auction status for the one you're running today, and even a merchandising report. A lot of great reporting, and we can go into that in greater details outside of this video. One other thing I want to show you is while we encourage all of our bidders to buy completely online, sometimes bidders will just show up and want to bid with the old pen and paper method. We give you that ability to do. Right on the very bottom here, you can say place paper bids, and you can just go ahead and put the bid in for each one of the buyers. Let's say he told you this one was $1,200 and this one was $25,000 or whatever. And now when you hit submit paper bids, you get a little confirmation screen. This is something that we like to print out and have the buyer sign. These are the bids that they placed. And once I hit confirm bids, the bids are in and they are submitted just like as if the buyer turned in a paper bid. The difference, though, is when you do it this way, it's already tabulated for you. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to wait till the end of the auction and figure out who the winning bid is on each car. The software just does it automatically, which is something I'd like to show you next. So this is an auction closeout report. So just imagine now that it's 4 o'clock and the final bids have just been submitted by your last few bidders. Many of the bidders are online or even bidding from their smartphone right at the car. 4 o'clock rolls around and all auctions have stopped. So now what happens is our software goes ahead and gives you a view of what happened. So in this case, this dealer had 49 vehicles and a bunch of them hit reserve, so they were just automatically sold. This car had 10 bids on it with a $1,600 profit in the highest bid, so obviously definitely sold. Reserve was 3,500 and the high bid was 3,577, so it's a win-win. Now at the top though, there's some cars that didn't hit reserve and we have to make some decisions. I know we shoot for 100% sale every time, but sometimes transactions are just so wrong, we have to go ahead and make a decision by hand. And that's what's going on here. So here's one, we have a $52 win. It didn't quite meet reserve, so the used car manager must have felt this car was worth a lot more than the cost of it, but he did make a profit. So he can just go ahead and hit accept or reject if he wishes, depending on what he wants to do. And one of the features of our auction is that we can do what's called a second chance sale, which is an open bid with a buy me now, especially for those buyers who are on the fence. It's kind of like the digital equivalent of that guy that shows up after a regular auction and says, hey, what would you have taken for that car? But anyhow, we can go ahead and reject and put it as a second chance. But with a $52 profit, I'm probably just going to go ahead and accept. Here's a $600 profit. I'm probably just going to accept. Here's a $1,500 loser with 4 bidders on it. Now I can actually drill in and see what the bid levels were, but you know what? I might just say no to that one because it's a little bit too high. So if I hit reject, what will happen is a little button will come up and say, do you want to run it for a second chance sale? Again, that's a bigger story for this small video that we're creating here. I'll show that to you in another version. Anyhow, this one here is showing an $8,500 profit, but the guy forgot to put the cost in, so that's probably wrong, especially when the reserve is 10 grand, so we're going to go ahead and reject that. This one's pretty close, I might accept it, and so on. And I'm going to go down the line and decision my cars, and each time I make a decision, this profit on the bottom adjusts itself automatically, so it makes it really easy for the auction manager, the block manager, to make his final calls. A lot simpler than the pen and paper and Excel spreadsheets that we traditionally would use at a bid sale. So I know my time is short, so I'm going to keep this video short. I hope this was a good explanation of why Auction Simplified really improves the pen and paper bid and turns it into a new generation of online bidding. Have a wonderful day.